Happy hump day. You know what? This is the second time I recorded this because the last time I recorded this, I forgot to plug in the mic. So I did a whole hour, which is how long it takes me to do a podcast. And I go to edit it. Boom, no sound. You know what? That's just the way the cookie crumbles. But I think this is episode 43. So out of 43 episodes, I've only not recorded sound once. That's pretty good. Things are as they should be. The wallpaper's on. I have a throne. It's Valentine's Day. It's also my birthday coming up. But I have got to tell you about last hump day. Let's get into it. Hello, world. Come inside. The Dear Juju podcast. So if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, y'all, the new set is here. I have this wallpaper from the Goodies Wallpaper on Etsy. Check her out. She is amazing. She can print to your wall custom. So we have a pink palm backdrop, but I sometimes wear crazy things. So what was nice about the black is that my outfits kind of always went with it, right? Because everything always goes with black. So I wanted pink, but I wanted the pink to be almost like a neutral pink, but still, so we have a black palm print. And honey, I found my peacock chair. I have been looking for my peacock chair for about 4 weeks. Facebook Marketplace came through once again. If you guys are looking to shop for things for your home and you come to Europe, I'm not kidding. An insider tip, if you come to London, if you go to Paris, yes, go to the flea markets and do all that. But also get on the local Facebook Marketplace because you can search like within a radius and go pick up some trinkets that are divine. So we got this on Facebook Marketplace, and isn't it fabulous? You guys, I just have to say that my husband just does it for me. And we try to get it in on as many hump days as we can. And you guys, last hump day, we've been together almost 10 years, and we had the best lovemaking that we've ever had. And it just left me, you know, when the dick is so good that you're washing dishes and you just start to think about it and you giggle and you're just like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, marry someone who does that for you. My husband, he just does it for me. We are opposites attract. Completely. I'm a show pony. He's a behind the camera. But you know, it's like the earth. There's land and there's water, but it makes a perfect circle. And I shit you not, every time I look at him, he just does it for me. I'm just like, he's so handsome. He's such a good man. I love him so much. He just gets my nipples hard. Now, if you're out there and dating and not in a relationship, I got my heart broken really by me. But he aided in it. My ex, we were engaged. We were in like a 5.5-year relationship. And in your 20s, that's a long time, right? From 26 to like 31, that's a long time. And I thought I was going to marry this man. And there were pink flags always. You know, pink flags? Pink flags are actually harder to spot than a red flag. Like, you know, red flags. You're like, red flag, I'm out. Pink flags are a little more subtle. There's a little more subdued. I one time needed to take a break because I didn't know if I was sexually attracted to him. Like, that's a pink flag. Maybe that's a red flag. But before, I was always in love with these like very masculine, manly. And this guy was actually a bit more feminine, to be honest. But he had a really big one and he used it really well. And he was very sensual. But it just wasn't my regular, I don't know. He just didn't do it for me. You know what I mean? And if there's one advice I could give any young women listening to this, or women who are not married, or women who are married, shit, you know, ain't too late to reinvent yourself. Get someone who just does it for you on every fiber of your being. They just get your goat. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't help but not flirt with this man when you're at dinner with him or when you're sitting across from him. You just can't not help it. And that is a relationship that you want to be in. You know, we're talking a little bit more about relationships this week due to Valentine's Day coming up. Okay, now I know we're not to the advice section yet, but I have a PSA announcement that I would like to give. We had the best lovemaking of 10 years. And you know why? I'm going to tell you why. He did something different, just a little different. Basically, you know, cunnilingus, I think it's called for the women. And it always happens on my back. He told me to flip it around. He said, flip it around. Give it to me. Stick it up in the air. And then he went to town on it. Okay? And that little shift of a difference really just spiced everything up. So you don't have to do big things to spice up your love life, but you just got to make that subtle shift of a direction change, right? So if you're going to give your fellatio or cunnilingus, or maybe you never 69, and maybe just say, lay on your back, I want to sit on your face while I suck your beautiful knob. You just say it, be vocal, and be confident. This Valentine's Day, the birthdays, if you're just looking to spice things up, little shift of, I always do it this way. Let me try telling him that I want to do it this way. I always usually do this. Let me try doing this. Okay. Switch it up just a little bit. That little switch up is sometimes all you need to get out of the rut, to get out of what you usually do. And if that's getting it out of your comfort zone, let me tell you, the orgasm will go out of the comfort zone too, honey. It'll go, woo. Could even be something as simple as location. If you always get it on in your bedroom and you see him in the living room and the kids aren't home or no one's home, draw the curtains and do it right there on the couch. Do it in front of the fireplace. Do it in the kitchen. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's that like, I just got to have you energy that feels so good, and that switch up of like a direction, a shift. No, get on your knees, put it in the air. I want to do this before, and being very confident with vocalizing how much you want to get it on. That is my biggest advice. Next, this is the Valentine's Day Dear Juju PSA announcement. Okay. Are you going out to dinner? This is what I want you to do. Come in closer. Toe tickle. The toe tickle. You guys, the toe tickle. Please don't forget about the toe tickle. You know what I'm talking about? The toe tickle is where you're having dinner, okay? And always do it when the waiter's there. That's the best. Even if it's their birthday. It doesn't have to be Valentine's Day. It could be their birthday, could be special occasion, could be anniversary, could just be Saturday. Doesn't matter. When the waiter comes to the table, okay, you naughty little minx, you. And he's trying to focus, or she, doesn't matter, trying to focus on ordering. I want you to straighten your leg. I'm doing it now. You can't see because you don't know because the table's blocking. And I want you to tickle their crotch with your toe. Okay? I want a toe tickle this Valentine's Day or birthday or whatever. If you're in a relationship and you go out to dinner for a special occasion, you got to give the toe tickle. Always when the waiter is there. Oh, you can't focus? Why? Why can't you focus? Are you having a hard time? And give a little toe tickle in the crotch. I tell you what, it is frisky, it is naughty, it is cheeky, and it is such a fun and delight. Honey, skip the chocolate-covered strawberries. Go for a toe tickle this Valentine's Day, and let me tell you, that will be the gift that will keep on giving, okay? And it's free 99. Now, my husband, and I know I am so lucky, but I have the opposite problem as most women. My husband has so much tenacity and so much gusto, okay, that he moves too fast. You know how people are like, I've been telling my husband, or my husband leaves us out, or my husband, leaves this, or he's dirty, or he's messy, or this or that, or won't take out the trash or whatever. My husband's the opposite. If there's bags in the trunk and I'm going to give stuff to Goodwill, but I've also put one bag specially to the side because I'm taking that to the dry cleaners, he'll go to clean my car and be like, oh, that's all the stuff in the back is for Goodwill. I'm going to drop it off at Goodwill for her. Dropping off my best stuff for dry cleaning. He will throw stuff away because he's breaking down boxes. And I'm like, I was saving that. I was returning that. He better not even sniff that you want something done. He will just do it, which is great, but sometimes he moves forward so much that he almost steamrolls. So let me tell you why I'm telling you this. We got a Venetian mirror. I love mirrors. Like I love trays. I love mirrors. I can never have too many of them. I think they reflect the light. They add sparkle. They add glam and they're gorgeous. Now, Venetian mirrors are a flat mirror. And then there's like almost disco ball mirror squares on the edge. And then there's this gold findings of gold. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. So to buff up the brass, I bought Brasso. But then as I was on Amazon, it was suggesting me other stuff. And I saw this like metal polisher, and our knobs of our front door are really they look almost like a tarnished brass. And I'm like, that would be so nice if I could turn them to a polished brass. Let me see if this works on that. But what I'm using for the mirror is the Brasso. So he opens all the boxes, gets out the Brasso, he gets out the buffer polish. And then all of a sudden I'm getting ready and I hear zzz, zzz. And I'm thinking, every time I hear that, I'm like, oh, fuck, what do we do? What's he doing now? So I come downstairs and he had buffed my gold vintage Venetian mirror to perfection using the wrong polish. So it made it almost a 14 karat gold, greeny, silvery look. Now, I like something that's more patinaed because then it gives it like a 24 karat gold look. And all I want to do is clean that up. Right? I don't want to restore it and take all the character out of it. It's like those women that get the facelifts and then they look like this. And it's like, you look crazy. Like yes, you look good for your age, but I don't even know what age that is. Like that's just like pancake face. I want a little wrinkle. I like a little character. Give me some gray. Give me some cellulite, Let me keep it authentic. Well, I like my mirror the same way. He overpolished and those are our fights. Our fights are, you tried to do something and help me and you steamrolled over me because you were helping me because you love me so much. These are our fights. You guys, you see my point? And that's what I'm saying. If you pick someone you love, if you pick someone who does it for you, if you pick someone who's got tenacity and supports you, these are all great problems to have. Now, I cannot believe that I am in the lucky position to have a boy. Having a son, it's great. It's really different. Like my son affects me differently than my daughter does. He's such a tender little soul and he has a first love that used to be a crush since preschool. He's still in love with her or loves her. And he asked me, can we FaceTime her? Can we FaceTime her? Can we FaceTime her? I said, yes. So I text the mom, hey, she's back in LA. When she gets up, have FaceTime us, please. He's bugging the crap out of me. They FaceTimed this weekend. You guys, I found myself being like really involved. Like I want her to like me so that she'll like him more. I don't know what that's about. I love this little girl. And I've known this little girl since she was 3. She's now about to be 7. They're both Pisces. So I'm like, this is either going to be a match made in heaven or it'll go opposite. Who knows? And Rocco, as bold as days, went up to his room to hide from me because I was a little too much in their business. And he asked, can I ask you something? And she was like, yeah. And he said, are we still boyfriend and girlfriend? And she said, I don't know, but probably. Because I think her dad has said like, yo, you're in first grade. You don't need a boyfriend. That's moving really fast. But it's really innocent, And I know the dad really well. And I'm like, listen, He loves her. Let him express his love for her. Okay. It's hard because I'm trying to not filter him, but he's trying to be protective of his daughter. It's young love. Anyways, they found them emojis on the phone. Do you know what emojis are? You can like make yourself a poop. You can put like emojis on your face when you're FaceTiming. It's the bottom star. Then they found the text. And they were texting, I love you, and her name. And she was texting back, I love you, Rocco, with all these emojis. I got a screen grab. Then you know what he told her? He is such a romantic. Oh my God, I'm going to have to teach him to wrap it up. He told her, let's call her Sarah. I'm switching her name. Sarah, I just care about you so much. I want you to know that. You guys, this has been his girlfriend since preschool. And he's just still like, no, that's my girl. Like he's just got that space in his heart for her. And that's it. And he's like, no, that's my girl. So I was 4 spritzes in and they're having this phone conversation and he's telling her stories. And I ordered her, I hope my husband's not listening, $100 worth of Sherry's berries. And I added the 2 dozen roses onto it. And it's getting delivered to her house on February 13th. Because I was just like, this is young love. We have to support this. We have to fan these flames. And she loves him. He loves her. And I was just like, you know what? She's getting chocolate covered strawberries. She's getting roses. This is happening. And I just funded that 4 spritzes deep, just like Sherry's berries. Oh my God. Yes, we want to add the 2 dozen roses. I actually, the next day I woke up and a little bit hungover and going, oh, fuck. I should probably cancel that. And I tried to cancel it. And they're like, sorry, it's already in process. I'm like, shit. Well, whatever. Young love is something I'll put my money behind. I'll always put my money behind my son to support him. And I think it's something that's really sweet. All right, now with all that, let's get into some domestic goddessness. Cooking. So if you are cooking at home for a loved one, this is what says love for me. Steak frites. Period. I want a steak with a bone in it, and I want to suck on that bone to give a little bit of theatrics, a little bit of a preview of what we're going to have later, and then fries, and then, dirty martini. It's just like a martini, a steak, and fries. You can't go wrong. It's the perfect meal besides the dirty martini and salad and fries. It's the perfect meal. Since it's a special occasion, do something special. Don't just get the meat at the grocery store. Go to the butcher, get you a really nice piece of steak, sear it, and I mean go all out. You know when you watch all those chef shows or if you watch chefs online, they'll sear their steak, then they'll put the butter, and then they'll put like a smashed garlic and some thyme, and then they like baste the steak back in the butter. Like do it right. Finish it with sea salt, finish it in the oven, sear it really well. And to be honest, I'm gonna keep it real. Frozen fries are the best because you can crisp them up to perfection. You don't have to sit there and cut and deep fry and then the whole house smells like fried oil. That ain't sexy. Get you some French fries that are already frozen. Air fry them if you can. Get you a dirty martini and get them all liquored up. Okay, that is what we are cooking for Valentine's Day. Cocktails. Now, while ago, so if you're on YouTube or if you've seen this, go back and look at my Carajillo. Carajillo is something that they have in Spain constantly. It's like an espresso martini, but simpler. Like if you want to make an espresso martini so that you're staying up all night doing the fun things and you need a little shot, the Carajillo is perfect if you're making it at home because 2 ingredients. Liqueur 43. It's sweet. It's 43 herbs. You do equal parts liqueur 43 to equal parts cooled espresso. You shake it. You strain it. I like to add a little whipped cream. Now, if it's too sweet for you, I feel like you could add a little bit of vodka in there as well. And it's perfect. It's done. And also, it's just a really nice thing to have. When you have a dinner party, a carajillo is a really beautiful thing to serve as an after dinner drink as well, as a digestif, because you get a little bit of sweet, you get a little bit of the espresso. Beautiful. Now, you know the age-old saying, does the carpet match the drapes, right? Usually talking about, does the hair down there match your hair up here? So this is what I, in my second living room. There's like a Jack and Jill living room in this house where there's two living rooms right next to each other. One's the kids, one's ours. Ours is more sophisticated, more elegant, more upgraded. The kids is more fun and colorful. Now, I'm trying to find a drape that matches the carpet. I went and got the carpet and the rug first. It's like an ice blue and a yellow with a little bit of pinks, but I have a marigold couch and I love a pattern on a drape because I'm not doing wallpaper in these rooms. I like my drapes to be cohesive with the paint so that the colors are all very similar and then the pattern just comes, because I usually have so much else going on that for that to really stand out, the eye pulls too much focus for me. Plain walls, I have a plain couch, so I can go pattern on the cushions, pattern on the drapes, pattern on the carpet. What do you guys like to do? Do you like a pattern drape or do you like a solid drape? I feel like if you have a solid drape, then the pattern better be on the wall. And if you have a solid wall, then the pattern better be on the drape, right? And it's cheaper in a house that you're renting to do a pattern on the drape. All right, now with all that, let's get into some Q&A with some TNA. Bay. Dear Juju, my best friend has terrible taste in men. I don't know how to break it to her without starting a war. She gets into situation after situation with different men, but the same thing happening every time pretty much. Any advice? Ooh, that's a good one. I think you basically just have to say, listen, I love you. You know this. I want to see you happy and thriving in a relationship that makes you feel so good. Now I see a pattern. And even though this is like the third or fourth guy, and I know technically that none of them are your fault, you are the common denominator in all of these relationships. Sometimes the relationships don't work out and you're just waiting for the right one. But then you would have a detachment to it. Like if you keep picking horrible people and horrible people and horrible people, then your picker's off, right? Or if you are not being able to see the red flags or the pink flags, which, some of us don't. I think it takes a good friend to say, I care about you and I love you, and you can't change anybody else, but you can change you. And you're the common denominator in all of this. And I was the common denominator in all my failed relationships, and I had to take a look at myself. So I just want to make sure that in your success to relationships that we're not pointing the finger, one pointing out at them and three pointing back at us. And this is really hard to say without you getting defensive or me saying that there's something wrong with you, but it's just some explorative findings that I would start exploring if I were you. I say this in love. I know this is kind of hard to hear, but I care about you. And sometimes when you care about people, you have to say things that are hard to hear. And I would just say it. Find the nicest way to say, bitch, it's you. It's you. It ain't them. Because I'm sure you're sick of hearing it. Dear Juju, I love dressing up and dressing to impress. Oh, honey, me too. But at a work event last week, someone came up to me and said, why are you so dressed up? Sometimes I get this and people ask me as if it's a bad thing because I live in a place where everyone is not as dressy as I am. How do I respond? Sending you love. It's very simple. If you have the audacity and feel the right to say some shit, I'm going to have the audacity and feel the right to say some shit. So you better watch it, honey. I get a little tit for tat on if you got the nerve, then I got the nerve. If you got the balls, then I got the balls. Like I'm going to be the nicest, sweetest, most loving person until you try me. Okay? So if this is me, if someone came up to me and said, why are you so dressed up? And said it in a way of like, I would look them dead in the eyes and I would say, So I would look them dead in the eye and say, I like to dress on the outside as fabulous as I feel on the inside. Then I would look them up and down and say, I see that you do too. And I would walk away. And let me guarantee you something. That is the last time that they will come at you sideways because you have put them in their place. People that do that need a little putting in their place, okay? And you need to do it with a smile and you need to do it with a little bit of Southern charm and hospitality. I dress as fabulous as I feel. And I see you do too. And I would walk away, honey. Sometimes saying least says volume. Okay? Make sure you get that I up and down. Okay? And basically what you're going to be saying in that pause is, don't you ever come for me or my outfit again. That's how I would respond. Oh, I dress as fabulous as I feel. And I see you do too. Because if they got the nerve and if they got the gall, honey, then you have come to the Nerve and Gall show, because we got it in spades. How dare you ask me a question and insult me in the same breath? No. You put that person in their place. Period. The end. Paragraph. Dear Juju, my best friend is coming into town after not seeing each other for 3 years. Oh my God, that's so fantastic. I would like to set up a spread for our first night so we can stay in, have cocktails and bites with glamour and gossip. What do you suggest I put on the menu? Okay. Champagne and caviar, honey. Caviar wishes and champagne dreams. There is something about pouring that champagne and having the bubbles fizz. It just gets you all bubbly. It gets them all bubbly. And then I would have caviar with creme fraiche and herbs. And then I would have potato chips. I would start there with the caviar and champagne. Then if you want to move, then I would maybe move to a wine and a charcuterie board where you can kind of fill up and you don't have to do this really big dinner, but it still feels like eating, talking, drinking. And what's so great about all this stuff is it could be ready before she arrives. If she arrives at happy hour at 4 p.m., you can have the caviar on ice, the whole tray ready, and then you can have the charcuterie board fully ready so that you're like, oh, let me go get another bottle. You go get a bottle of red, then you come up with the charcuterie board. You don't have to make dinner. If you got too drunk, you can always order in, but that's what I would do. I would keep it light with bubbles, because if you do cocktails, I feel like at home sometimes with your best friend and you're so excited and you down them, you're going to hurt the next day. They're going to be like, oh my God, I can't even do anything. My head is spinning, right? Like, just keep it light with champagne, caviar, then move to charcuterie and red wine. That sounds amazing for me. I wish someone would do that for me. That sounds fabulous. All right, that's the podcast. Don't forget about the toe tickle, okay? Cook you a steak. Steak frites. Everyone loves it. It's the best. Don't forget that you're a star. It's easy to forget with our senses. Sometimes we are so led by our senses. And I truly believe that the outside world is you pushed out. So if there's something missing in your life, you are the universe. That's why I say you're a star, because you're the universe, you're the magic, you're the shooting cosmos. So if you want to change something on the outside, always start on the inside. Your outside reflects your inside, right? Go in. I listen to Neville Goddard on YouTube. You guys, I can't recommend this enough. You go inside, you do some transcendental meditation, you breathe, you relax, you remind yourself that your natural state is of stardom and bliss and abundance. And just remind yourself of that. Have you ever tried, and you can do this for like a minute at a time, because sometimes it's a lot to keep going, but you can train yourself up to it. So my goal is to be, dear Juju, world-renowned comedian, entertainer of the world. And I know I'm that, okay? And we'll come back to this episode. The world just hasn't exactly woken up to the fact, but those of you that are here, you freaking know. You know I'm the next Lucille Ball coming right at you in a Martha Stewart kind of situation, but different and even better, right? We know this. But have you ever, whatever your dreams are, just try to walk in it for like a minute? Like right now, I'm in a bedroom of my house, okay? Fabulous. But I hope to one day get it out of my house, have it be on a set, have people working and helping me so that I'm helping the economy and them and can give to them and they can give to me. So a lot of times what I imagine is that there's people on set helping me do this, that there's millions of viewers watching this, right? And you have to kind of walk in that knowingness, because you almost have to daydream your reality that you want to create next, because what's created now is your old way of thinking. So if you want to create your new way of thinking, the power absolutely is in your creative imagination. And you know what else I've been doing? One more thing before I go. Neville Goddard, however you say it, he says there's a really big power in rewriting or rehearsing. And this is what I do a lot of times as a mom. I will go in, let's say I accidentally snapped or I didn't handle something as cool and as chill or as kind but firm hand as I would want to with my children. That leaves me in my bed at night feeling guilty. It's just like, ugh, I love them so much. Why did I not treat them the best? I mean, I would do anything for them. Like what is that, right? And instead of beating myself up, because then that guilt and that frustration within me leads to it just creating a further worse scenario. I replay the scenario in my head. I'll sit there and I'll close my eyes. And you can do this with anyone. You can do this with your boss, your parent, your mother, your lover, your sister, your friend. If you're like, I held it in, I didn't say it, and I wanted to stand up for myself. What you can do is close your eyes. Always take a deep breath. It just helps everything. And then go replay the scene. Let's say somebody came up to you and said, why are you so dressed up? And you want to be the kind of person that kindly but firmly puts them back in their place. I would replay that scene where they came up to you and they say, why are you always so dressed up? Then I would respond with, I dress on the outside of how fabulous I feel on the inside. And I see you do too. And walk away being like, mic drop, and feeling all that confidence and feeling all of that. I just did it. Okay. I was just there. Your brain doesn't know what's real and what's fake. I mean, everyone knows that people do this creative imagining. All sports players imagine the basketball shooting. They imagine winning the World Series, then them yelling and screaming and high-fiving. I mean, this is something that's been tested and scientifically proven. So what you can do is your creative imagination works outside of space and time, is go back and rehearse becoming the person that you want to be. So I usually go back and I rehearse the mother that I want to be. And if there's a little scenario that kind of irked me, I'll go back and rehearse how I would have wanted to deal with that relationship, or deal with what I said, and then becoming that person, because then it's now in your subconscious that you are that person. So use your creative imagination, sit and breathe. You are the universe, you are the magic, and you are the stardust, and you are a goddamn star. And so am I. And I can't wait for the world to wake up to it. I'm like, what am I on? Episode 43? That's a year almost. 52 weeks. In 10 episodes or 9 episodes, I will be at a year of, that's pretty cool. And you know what? It doesn't matter if the outside recognizes it or not. Sometimes that's a scapegoat. You want it. You want the funds. You want the recognition because it does make you feel good. But you have to act like you already have it first. So I am so proud of myself for doing this and sticking to it. And I love it. I love talking to you guys. Anyways, I went off on a tangent. If you don't listen to me on any advice that I've ever given you, okay? Toe tickle. Toe tickle. Okay? Try it and you'll never go back. You'll be a firm toe tickle believer. I love ya. And I'm out. Mwah!